Hi, this is Alexandra at Beadaholique, here to show you how to make the Galatea Necklace featuring Nunn design. So let's take a look at these beautiful pieces that have come out from Becky Nunn's Winter 2020 collection. We have a couple different sizes of this succulent design in the 12 and 16 millimeter. We've got some beautiful big flowers in the signature colorways that she does of the metal finishes in the gold, silver, and copper. There's these neat 17 millimeter tubular horizontal beads that are actually drilled through the middle. We'll be designing with those. And just to see the difference, there's a very shiny silver and then the more burnished antique. There's these three different sizes, the 6, 9, and 13 millimeter of the faceted round charms and the Nautilus charms, which we'll also be designing with. So here's a necklace that uses those neat faceted rounds just to show you how well they go together. The pieces just really speak for themselves. So let's get started. We're going to bring in our components for this necklace. Now this is the Galatea Necklace, which I called after the goddess of calm seas. I was very inspired by the organic, natural style that Becky Nunn is so well known for. So all we need are some cable chains. I've got a couple different lengths here that I have prepared. I've got 5.5-inch lengths here and then 6 1-inch lengths all prepared. I actually didn't have to cut these apart. I just separated the lengths by opening and closing them. I've got some 6.5 millimeter jump rings, also by Becky Nunn. They're really nice sort of brushed look to give them a bark look, bark finish. And then a 12 millimeter lobster clasp. I've got a couple of itty bitty 2.5 millimeter metal beads. We'll be using one of these horizontal beads and the Nautilus shell, which is about 22 millimeters. I'm also going to need some 22 gauge wire. And for tools, I'll be using some round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, bent nose pliers, and some cutters. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to begin by cutting 10 inches of the craft wire with my flush cutters. And I'll bring in my pliers here. I'm going to make a wrapped wire loop on one side just by taking my round nose plier about 1 inch down, make my 90-degree angle, rotate my plier, create a loop off the top and down over the bottom there. Open that up just a little bit and I'm going to slide on my Nautilus pendant. And close that wrap up. Just grab my other pair of pliers and create a couple coils. Once and twice. And clip the extra. And now I'm going to slip on one of these tiny beads, and this is going to help to stop up that larger hole size of this artisan bead that we'll be using. So let me take one onto either side of that bead. And I'm going to create another wrapped wire loop at the top, following in the same direction as my previous loop. So I'm going to pull toward myself, gripping there at a 90-degree angle, come up and over the top, match the size of my loop on my plier, come around the base, and again I'm going to coil once and twice and just fill the space up to that little tiny bead. And at that point I'm going to take the remainder of my wire and start to create a nice casual coil around this bead, coming around crossways once and then around one side in a loop, a second loop, and a third loop. And then I'm going to bring my wire up around the back and over the top and cross to the opposite side of the bead and do the same thing, creating 1, 2, and 3 loops. And over the top of the bead here on that upper coil, I'm going to trace over my previous wrap and just kind of bulk that up in a neat line. And I'm ready to clip and tuck my wire. So this is just a nice way to tie in that beautiful organic feel and create a pendant there that's sort of rustic. So to put together the necklace, I'm going to bring in my bent chain nose pliers and some of these jump rings and just start to piece everything together using these nice big jump rings. And I love mixing the metals too. That's always fun to do with Becky Nunn's pieces. I'm sliding on the end links of 2 of my 1-inch chains. And I'm going to close that up. And then I'm going to do the same thing on either side of the necklace, just assembling the 1-inch chains together using these jump rings. The jump rings add their own sort of design element. Give the piece a nice feeling of space and weight at the same time. I'll bring this next one in. I'm going to bring 3 jump rings on either side of the necklace. Kind of like bubbles now that I'm thinking of it. Very watery, nautical. Oops, I forgot to add my next chain. Let me pop that on there. All right. And one more jump ring. This one's going to link these smaller bits of chain onto my longer 5.5-inch length. So to complete this project, you would need about 17.5 inches of chain to create a 19-inch necklace. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side, and then I'll meet up with you when we add our clasp. So now we're ready to add on our clasp and jump ring on the opposite side of our necklace. I'm going to take one of these same jump rings as I used before and just link it on to the end portion of my 5.5-inch chain and close that up. Now for the clasp, rather than using sort of a large clunky jump ring that would outsize the clasp, I'm just going to use one of the links on the chain as a jump ring. So I'm going to open that up. Slide on the loop of my 12mm clasp and close the ring. So that's the Galatea necklace. I really enjoyed making this design using Becky Nunn's beautiful components. They're all available at Beadaholique.com. Be sure to click the bell and subscribe on our YouTube channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching.